Okay, here we go. Removing the dashboard. Now I'm going to try to go through this as detailed as I can. I'm just doing a voiceover because if I tried showing everything that I did, it would probably take 3 hours. This video would be really long. But what I started with was I removed the bezel from the dash. And I'm trying to follow my video at the same time. But the bezel, it's got 4 screws. There's 2 screws on the bottom. They're pretty long. They're about 2-inch screws. And then there are 2 screws. Actually, there's 3 screws at the top of the bezel, but I only had 2. You take those screws out at top and bottom, and then you have to gently remove that bezel. There's also a around the cigarette lighter. There's like a little knob that you have to screw off that holds it on over there as well. But you have to be very careful removing this bezel. You don't want to bend it. If you bend it, it is thin aluminum. It'll stretch, and you'll never get it straight again. It'll just be, it could be a mess. I've damaged them before easily. This one I took very good care of. I was going to remove the heater controls and unplug all the vacuum wires, hoses, but for some reason I wasn't able to get it out, and I figured it out later on what I was doing wrong. But from there, I removed the plastic piece underneath the dashboard. Right there, I'm putting all my screws back in. That's another thing. You definitely want to put all your screws, nuts, and bolts back in where they come from, because at the end, you will have a handful of screws, nuts, and bolts and not know where they came from. And that will make this difficult job even more difficult. So put everything back where you got it from. And when you go to put it back together, it'll just make life so much easier. But once you get that bezel out of there and that plastic off the bottom of the steering column, remove the ductwork. Then get that out of the way so you can start unplugging all your wires. I think what I should have done first was remove that emergency brake cable or pedal, and that would have just made it a little simpler, because there's that release cable that goes to the pedal that I had a really hard time with. I eventually unbolted the pedal, but I should have did it first. And then same with that driver's side kick panel. I'd get that out of the way too, just because you could have a hard time finding the wire to the driver's side door switch. Overhead light in the roof, which is two wires. It's a black and a white wire. When you get to it, you'll see. But I'm removing the ductwork. Now I can get up in there and start unplugging everything. And the gloves that I'm wearing, my son got them for me for Christmas. They're finger lights. It just goes over 2 fingers, and they're pretty bright. Those things are awesome. I didn't have to use an extension light. I was able to see everything. I really recommend you get those lights for any type of dashboard work or anything like that. They were awesome. But I'm unplugging all the wires at the base of the column. Neutral safety wire. You have the brake light switch. You have quite a few connectors down in there you have to take apart. And some of them were very tough. These things, some of them haven't never been taken apart. Over 40 years they've been together, and they were pretty stuck. So I'm removing the plastic off the firewall at the base of the steering column. And then I'm going to remove all the bolts bolting the steering column to the firewall. And then I have the fuse block that has to be unscrewed from the firewall as well. There's a lot down in there once you start poking around. And this car was an 81. It had a computer for the motor, computer for the transmission, so there's extra wires down there, which I took a lot of them out when I knew this wasn't going to have a computer anymore. But there's still some down there I'm going to have to get out of there. Before I put the dash in, I'll flip it over and remove what's not needed. So I'm poking around looking for anything else. I'm going to start to struggle on that emergency brake. Like I said, I should have. There, I'm taking the column out now. There's still some wires on the top that I wasn't able to get with it up, bolted up to the dash. Because they, like I said, everything was just, things have not been taken apart ever. So thankfully nothing broke. You know, cars nowadays, you start to try to take wires apart and the clips break and just everything. I was very shocked. Nothing broke. So I'm struggling to get some things apart in there. I think I'm getting it. I think this is where I get it. And then I'll put that steering column on the passenger side, get it out of my way. It's stuck in there. Here we go. You have to turn it to get the bottom out of the firewall. Now I'm starting to look for some more wires. There really isn't a lot you have to disconnect. But it is tough. I mean, you're disconnecting enough that you go to put it back together, you're going to struggle. You really have to pay attention. You should take pictures before you start unplugging things, just so you know where they go. I did not take pictures. That's a big mistake. But take pictures before you do this. And like I said, put all your nuts, bolts, and screws back where you get them from. So I'm digging around in there, unplugging some stuff. Really looking around for anything that I've missed. You have the speedometer cable up in there too. You have to make sure you get that. That's up there kind of high. Which that you just push into the speedometer, and there's a clip. Once you push the cable in, you press this clip, and the cable will just pop right out. It's very easy. To remove that bolt that's at the corner of that dashboard. I'm removing right now the OBD port that was for the computer. I'm getting that out of the way because I'm looking for the driver's side door light switch. That's like I said, if I would have had that kick panel out of there and that emergency brake pedal out of there, I would have found it a lot faster. So I'm unplugging that, and I'm trying to get that cable out of that emergency brake, that ratchet. I'm struggling. See, I'm playing with it there. There's just not enough room. So I eventually, like I said, I unbolted it and I got it out pretty quickly. I think this whole thing took me maybe an hour and a half, a little longer, I'd say. Oh, there's my wife. She didn't realize she walked in front of the camera. She's bringing me my Saturday night gas station cappuccino. Thinking about what I'm going to do about this release, but like I said, I just take the pedal out and I'm easy. It comes out easily. It's funny the things you realize when you're watching yourself in a video. I did not know my bald spot was as big as it is. I almost feel like I need to start wearing a hat. I'm thinking it over. Don't really want to, for some reason, I don't really want to remove the pedal, but it's got to come out anyway. So I'm just overthinking it at this point. Better off just taking it out and save you some time. Still overthinking it and checking around for other things that need to be disconnected. Up inside that dashboard, when you take that bezel out, there's going to be 3 screws that would be hidden behind that bezel that go up into that steel part of the dashboard. You have to take those screws out. I don't know if I've removed them yet in the video. I don't know why I'm still looking around. I don't know what I'm looking for. I think I was struggling with the cruise control switch and the brake light switch. They were getting the plugs off of them. It was pretty tough. Like I said, everything was really stuck together from years and years of never being touched. Surprisingly, there were no wires cut ever. I mean, this was really clean underneath the dash. There was no spaghetti. It was nice. I was shocked. I'll be able to reuse this wire harness. So at this point, I stopped recording and I removed the emergency brake pedal. It's out of the way and the cables are off and the driver's side is finished at this point. So now I'm working on the passenger side. I'm removing the glove box door and the glove box. And once the glove box is out of there, if I would have paid attention, I would have seen, I'm moving the camera around just because I didn't think it was at a good position, moving around to where it's really no different from where I originally had it. But if I would have looked inside that glove box, I would have found the blend door cable. If I would have removed that, then I would have been able to pull the temperature control out and unplug all the vacuum lines. But I'll find that blend door cable once the dashboard comes out, and I'll get it then. But up inside that dashboard, you'll find there's going to be 3 nuts. I'm getting those out right now. You can't really see them that well. You have to feel around for them. But there's 3 nuts up in there. And then there's a bolt right there. That's that lower corner, that lower. And there's a wire for that. See, right there, I pulled the dash. And in the video, you can't tell, but that door, that dashboard came crashing down. I actually bent my cigarette lighter, or my ashtray, rather. So this is something you want 2 people for, because that has some weight to it. And, just 2 people so it doesn't come crashing down, especially if your interior is still in there. If your center console and your shifter, you don't want to break anything. So 2 people for sure to get this out of there. Right now I'm unplugging the wires from the radio and the antenna. And there's a couple of things I found on the other side there that I missed. But that cable for the blend door is back in there. I'm getting that right now. And then I think I'll go over and I'll get that passenger side door light switch. But those finger glove lights, they are so bright. Look at that. I'm able to see everything. I'm not moving a shop light around and struggling at all with light. Those things are nice. I have that, and then my daughter got me a t-shirt that says Bob's Garage, which I'm not wearing that because my garage is cold. And my wife got me lights for the garage. It is very bright in here. Everything is just awesome. I got a lot of stuff this year that just love everything I got. My in-laws got me a air hose reel. Something I've been wanting for a while but didn't want to buy myself because I really didn't mind stepping over an airline. It was laying on the ground, but I tell you what, that airline reel is really nice. I'm still just unplugging a couple things and I'm almost done. This dashboard is in really good condition. The top has got a crack in it, have to figure out how I'm going to fix that. But other than that, this dashboard is really nice. All the wiring, nothing is butchered. I'll be able to plug everything back in as long as I remember where it all goes. That's going to be the tough part. Like I said, take pictures. At this point, I'm going to go get someone to help me get this out of the car just because it's kind of bulky and I don't want to take a chance of damaging anything. But that's it. All right. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.